Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Made in New England interview series, where we talk with New England-based businesses and the people who are leading them. I'm your host, Steve DeVries, and today I'm on the call with Russ Edelman of Contracts 365. Russ, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Steve. Great to be here, and thanks for extending the offer to be on the show. Really excited to participate.
Well, I'm excited to have you here.
Great.
So, Russ, you're the president of Contracts 365. Maybe you could start out by telling us a little bit about you and your background and, of course, your business.
Yeah, sure. So let's see. Background is I've been a technologist guy for 30 years, I'd say maybe even 35 years. And so I've always kicked around. I've not really been a full-time developer, but just always enjoyed technology for technology's sake and specifically in the context of business. So I had co-founded a business in New Jersey and then helped to grow that and sold that business, then started this business 26 years ago already. So it's been quite some time and started as a consulting business, eventually evolved into a software company. So today we stand proudly, firmly as a full SaaS-based product. And I'm happy to share with you what it is that we do as
Yeah,
part
please
of that answer.
continue.
So the company Contracts 365, as might be alluded to with the name, Contracts 365 is a contract management software product specifically for mid-sized to enterprise companies. So we literally have companies around the world using our software to manage the contract lifecycle. So people think, oh, well, what is contract lifecycle? So, at I'll say 100,000-foot view, when you think about contract management, you think there's a lot of stuff that has to happen, or referred to as activities prior to executing a contract. And there's a lot of activities that take place after executing a contract. So an example might be, if I was to sign a contract with someone, am I using my paper? Am I using their paper? Already, that's the term that people will use for their language. And based upon that, it will be driven by either my templates or something that somebody gives to me. And then do I use artificial intelligence? Do I use workflow approvals, routing? Do I actually tie it into e-signature? Do I negotiate? And then do I eventually get to the point where I'm saying, okay, this document is now fully signed? And then I've got all this other stuff afterwards, all these obligations I have to track, end of term processing. And it really drives business because if you think, how do businesses conduct business with other businesses? With contracts. So there's been a big uptick with regard to companies focused on contracts from an efficiency point of view, as well as also to mitigate risk. So that's the short story of what Contracts 365 is about.
So by the name, am I interpreting correctly that you're integrating with one major platform in particular?
I'm not sure who that could be, but yes, that would be good. Yes, that would be a good assumption. So we actually, so the company name in the product, which was the precursor to the company name, Contracts 365, was focused specifically on building on top of the Microsoft 365 platform. And it's blossomed well beyond that. So now what I refer to is that we actually are the only contract management vendor out there that actually spans what I refer to as 4 pillars across the Microsoft cloud. So most notably, we are a SaaS product. We run on top of Microsoft Azure already. However, all of our customers' contracts are uniquely stored in their respective Microsoft 365 tenant. So their data protection, their password policies, their single sign-on, how they want their security set up, we honor and adhere to that based upon their preferences. So Azure, we then have their Microsoft 365 tenant. After that, what then happens is we then go to saying, we now support their AI model. So what Microsoft has done with Azure and OpenAI, we actually have embraced that and embedded that into our technology. And then we also integrate with Microsoft Dynamics 365, which is the ERP and CRM capabilities. So again, we're the only company, I believe at this point, that can say, hand on heart, we integrate in that capacity across the entire Microsoft cloud stack.
Well, that's exciting. And
Yeah.
so from a business operations standpoint, as I listen to you describe your platform, your product, I think about, this is playing in, your world with dealing with your own clients, but it's also helping with your suppliers as well,
Sure.
right? And it could be direct suppliers, it could be indirect suppliers, right? And so when I think about, the indirect suppliers and that indirect spend, the stuff that goes into your operating expenses that
Sure.
Smaller and maybe even medium-sized companies aren't paying enough attention to, right? They're so focused on their direct spend. Now here's contract management software that's going to help them more effectively manage their indirect spend. So I have to think that, the ROI on using a product like yours has to be great.
Well, I think that's the case. And I'd say broadly, the category of contract management introduces some key efficiencies. So there's an organization called World CC, which stands for World Commerce and Contract Management Association. They're a nonprofit professional association globally. They have like 70 or 80,000 members. So they're the de facto organization out there. They had done the study that lasts a lifetime. And that study basically came back. They surveyed, I think, and got 5,000 people responding back. And the question, which was most germane to this part of the discussion, is that the survey indicated, a survey, I should say, respondents came back, and the average was that poor contracting processes impact 9.2% of the bottom line. So basically, they're saying take a $100 million business, and they're saying 9.2 million per year can be written off due to poor contracting process, that's a staggering number.
Yeah, you could see the look on my face.
Oh, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
there's data behind that. Oh, wow.
There's data behind that. And actually, a lot of the participants came back and said that was actually a conservative number. Now, we found a lot of people won't necessarily just buy off on that unless they've been burnt by poor contracting experiences before. So we actually will come back and say, just lower the number to 1%. And we have found that is still a compelling case from an ROI point of view to actually demonstrate there's real value in terms of taking a look at this. So, so we're excited by what it has to offer.
Absolutely. And so I was going to ask you about key metrics in your business, but there's not going to be anything better than that kind of metric in terms of how you know, your value proposition. So I'm going to ad lib here a little bit. So
Go ahead, hit me.
Russ, I'm looking at your LinkedIn page today, and it says that you are co-author of something called Nice Guys Can Get the Corner
Oh, yeah.
Office.
Yeah, that is
So
true. That's
tell me a little bit about that, because that could really tell us a lot about your business as well.
Sure, sure. So that's a book I had co-written with two other guys. It came as a result of writing an article in HBR a long time ago. And the premise of the book, which is contrary to the name, is that oftentimes people in business are too nice. Already. And as a result, the premise of the book is that how do you teach people to be more directed, more affirmative, so they're a bit more balanced and not taken advantage of? So the book really speaks to how you have suggestions that can be embraced by, you know, overly nice guys and gals, all right, to actually stand up for themselves. So there's something called the Bill of Rights. We go through a whole bunch of different scenarios. I actually, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I traveled around the country, interviewed CEOs from major companies, from Southwest Airlines, Disney, Panera Bread, just a bunch of different organizations. And it was a pretty riveting experience in terms of actually getting these people's perspective on making sure you have a balanced equation. And I'd spent some time with a guy named Sam DiPiazza, who was the CEO of PwC. And it was interesting talking with him. He said, you know, business has to be intense, but it can be done nicely. And I think that was the spirit by which a lot of these people operated and had the success that they did. So that's really what the character of the book is about. So it was a lot of fun doing it.
Sounds like it. And so, I mean, you've been in business for a long time. You have a successful business and a successful product. How do you use that in your business?
Well, I think, you know, we've tried to embrace a lot of those philosophies in the business by, you know, if we have an unruly customer, you know, we try to have an honest discussion with them because we don't want them to be abrasive with our staff. So if someone is unruly, if they're nasty, you know, we try to understand what the source of the problem is at. You know, however, if someone is abusive, then we come back and we'll say, hey, listen, this might just not be a good fit. You know, so it's something like that. We want to make sure we're having honest discussions with the people that work here. So, you know, I think when that comes down to something such as, let's make sure that there's clarity in terms of, you know, what it is that you're on the hook for in terms of job responsibilities, we define that up front. We expect results and make sure there's real clarity in terms of how people understand how to operate within their job function. So those are some of the characteristics we actually embrace from the book.
I can't imagine ever running into an unhappy client.
Never happens, right?
So let's look at your business for a moment. What excites you most about it? You've been at it for a while now. Looking out at the future, what excites you most about your business or your industry?
I think I'd probably break it down to 3 points. So I think point number one is contract management has become something that's really important for a lot of businesses because they realize there's a lot of risk and a lot of exposure if they do not manage their contracts properly. Now, with that said, it's not that I am so impassioned by the world of contracting. I just think there's real value that's actually derived from organizations that actually take advantage of this technology and the process and the change management associated with it, because it's not just a, hey, if you build the technology and implement it, people will follow. You have to actually have a strong discipline and process perspective. So I think contract management, part one. Part two, the alignment of us and Microsoft is really important. And Microsoft's growth trajectory, as they now, go back and forth as the most valuable company in the world, is really exciting. I mean, Satya has made a big bet on so many fronts, starting with open source and then moving over into what he's done with OpenAI and a whole collection of all sorts of other initiatives, plus just the overall ethos of the business. We're really excited by what Microsoft has to offer. So that's pretty cool. And then, I'm going to actually go out there and say, artificial intelligence, everyone's on the bandwagon with AI. And we have been flirting with AI for a long time. I think what excites me about AI is when you can practically put it to use. And I think that there's a big distinction. I think when people get caught up in terms of AI for AI's sake, you lose the value applicable to the businesses by making it not a practical matter. So, in the context of contracts, you have to really come up with specific use cases. You have to make it easier, and you have to be able to impact the business as well as the users in a way that actually will be meaningful. So those are the three: contract management, Microsoft growth trajectory, and the practical aspects of AI.
Love it. So now a fun question.
Yeah.
So you look at your business, you have a magic wand, and you can change one thing by waving that magic wand.
Yeah.
What would that be?
In our business, or just society in general? Where do you want me to go with that one?
Business would definitely be preferable. Society's that's a big can of worms.
That's a big nut to handle, right? I think if I was to raise my magic wand, I think let's see. I think it would be a matter of just getting smarter, having that magic wand provide better insights and clarity in terms of, when you build a software company, you're making bets, and the bets are, what is the prioritization of features? How do you actually go about and say this one trumps this one and to this level? And if there was a crystal ball or a magic wand that could say, yes, this is the go-to, this is the sequence that's perfect, that would probably be the most valuable, because I think that's the biggest challenge, is like making sure you're making the smart bets.
I love it. So you're in New England, you're in Newburyport, Massachusetts. Yeah. Beautiful area in New England. For those of you who haven't been there, highly recommend getting to downtown Newburyport and checking it out. What has being in Newburyport or New England in general done for your business? Pros or cons?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I live here in Newburyport now for 21 years. Already, I moved up here from Cambridge. As did I find a number of people from Cambridge, Boston area. And the business was originally located down in Wakefield. Already, and before that down in Burlington and Wakefield, Mass. I think we eventually moved the business up here to Newburyport. So I'm a whopping 5-minute walk from the office, which we keep in right downtown Newburyport, and I live downtown. So what I like about Newburyport, New England, and specifically North Shore, is that we're able to leverage, this entire talent pool of people who don't necessarily want to make the trek down into Boston, Cambridge, the 128 corridor, which the corridor was the name of the original business, by the way, as a quick data point. So we find that's been really just great. And we just think that Newburyport has so much to offer. So employees come here, they walk along the boardwalk, they have just a collection of all sorts of great restaurants. There's just so much going on. So I think for them, it's been this welcome addition. We've actually had a lot of young people coming and moving from Boston, Cambridge, actually into Newburyport because they enjoy it so much. So we think it's just a great place to live and work.
Fantastic. All right. Last question, Russ.
Sure. Yes.
You've been in business for a long time. You've been successful for a long time. What advice do you have for budding business leaders who want that longevity that you've enjoyed?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think as I reflect upon it, I would probably share 3 thoughts. Number one would be, first off, don't spread yourself too thin. Stay focused in the area that you can make a difference in. All right. If you spread yourself too thin, you can be, an expert in nothing, and you won't get the traction that you'd like. So that's part one. I think next thing is really enjoy what you do. All right. Make sure that, you are very passionate about the things that you're focused in on, what your company can do and what your position does. So that's part number 2. And then I think the other piece is enjoy the people, the customers, your employees that you work with. I think it's a vital part of making sure it's a really successful aspect of, how you can really succeed. So that's maybe the mantras that I would live by.
It's fantastic advice, Russ. Our guest today has been Russ Edelman of Contracts 365. Russ, loved having you on the show. Thanks for
It's
being
great,
here.
Steve. Yeah, thanks so much.
All right. And thanks everybody for watching and listening. We'll be back with another episode soon. Have a great day.